Today, we will talk about Marcus Garvey, the Black Messiah, accomplishments and people he influenced. Marcus Moses Garvey was born in St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica, British West Indies, on August 17, 1887. His parents, Marcus and Sarah Garvey, were both full-blooded blacks of African descent. As such, the family, including young Marcus, suffered under the racial caste system prevalent in Jamaica at the time, a system which relegated pure blacks to a lower socioeconomic status than either mulattoes or whites. This fact may explain why Garvey subsequently would emphasize black racial purity, denouncing mulattoes as mere pawns or tools of the white man. During his childhood and adolescence, Garvey was precocious, an avid reader, a gifted speaker, and a bright student. His formal education, however, did not extend beyond his 14th year. Family financial difficulties forced him to quit school and accept employment as a printer's apprentice, an experience which would later prove to be invaluable to his career in journalism and to the movement he came to lead. Nevertheless, Garvey's failure to complete a formal education seriously influenced his thinking and behavior for the remainder of his life, explaining, in part, his future antagonism toward the intellectual community in general and black intellectuals in particular. As a young black journalist in the early 20th century, Garvey became increasingly aware of and concerned with the humiliating plight of fellow blacks throughout the Caribbean. Moreover, through extensive reading, research, and travel, including a trip to England, where he was influenced by a number of African nationalists, Garvey finally came to believe that white discrimination against and exploitation of black people was a serious worldwide problem, which demanded an immediate solution. Toward this end, he decided to become a leader of his race in order to unite blacks throughout the world in a nation and government of their own. Life's work. Following his 2-year sojourn in England, Garvey returned to Jamaica in 1914, where he established the Universal Negro Improvement and Conservation Association and African Communities League, usually called the Universal Negro Improvement Association, UNIA. The initial goals of UNIA centered on universal black unification, the enhancement of black racial pride worldwide, and black development of and control over the continent of Africa. Achieving only moderate success in Jamaica, Garvey decided to seek support for his infant organization in the United States. He arrived in New York on March 23, 1916, and quickly proceeded to establish a branch of the UNIA in Harlem, which had a relatively large West Indian enclave. 2 years later, he founded a newspaper, Negro World, which became the propaganda arm of UNIA. Coupled with a lengthy and flamboyant speaking tour throughout the United States, Garvey's editorials in Negro World succeeded in attracting thousands of native converts to UNIA. In a matter of months, 30 branches of the organization were established throughout the country. By 1920, Garvey claimed to have 4 million followers, and in 1923, 6 million. Although these figures were probably exaggerations, even Garvey's most critical opponents admitted that there were at least 500,000 members in UNIA at its height. At the heart of Garvey's ideology was his fervent desire to mobilize the black peoples of Africa, the West Indies, the Americas, and elsewhere, for the spiritual, historical, and physical redemption of Africa and Africans, at home and abroad. The faith we have, he declared, is a faith that will ultimately take us back to that ancient place, that ancient position that we once occupied, when Ethiopia was in her glory. Notwithstanding this pronouncement, culture and independence in the United States by creating and maintaining a nation within a nation. The struggle for African redemption, he stated, did not call for blacks to surrender their domestic struggle for political justice and economic independence. In 1921, Garvey established a provisional government in exile for Africa, with himself as president. In addition, he established a black cabinet, a black army, the Universal African Legion, attired in resplendent uniforms, a corps of nurses, the Universal Black Cross Nurses, and even an African Orthodox Church, with a black God and a black Christ. Earlier, Garvey had created the Negro Factories Corporation, NFC, an experiment designed to promote black economic independence by providing loans and technical assistance to aspiring black small businessmen. The NFC reflected Garvey's acceptance of Booker T. Washington's late 19th century philosophy of black self-help as a stepping stone to genuine black emancipation. Although the NFC rarely had enough working capital, it did succeed in establishing a number of independent black businesses, including a restaurant, a chain of cooperative grocery stores, and a publishing house. Garvey's pet project was his Black Star Line, a steamship company designed to engage in commerce with and transportation to Africa. Garvey was convinced that a black-owned and operated link with the African motherland would not only promote black self-help and economic opportunity, but also visibly enhance black pride and self-awareness. Thousands of urban blacks heeded the call, buying up more than $500,000 of Black Star Line stock, inexpensively priced at $5 a share and limited to black investors, during the first year of the company's existence. The fact that Garvey and his associates purchased, many say were hoodwinked into purchasing. Ships that were hardly seaworthy did not detract from the enthusiasm this venture generated among the black urban masses. Financially, however, the Black Star Line proved to be a disaster for the UNIA. The organization was unable to raise enough money to repair steamships which, in some cases, were beyond repair. By late 1921, the company was more or less defunct. The elaborateness, flamboyance, and above all, the promise and the dream of Garveyism, coupled with Garvey's own charismatic personality, had a profound effect upon the black urban masses, who were drawn to their messiah as if he were a magnet. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.